I just went through half of these books and realized I wasn't recording. So hello my friends, it's Kendra. Today we're doing something a bit different. Obviously, we're at my bookshelf. We're gonna be talking about books today, but a little something different is it's all gonna be about children's literature. Now, obviously, I myself am not a kid. I don't have any kids myself. I don't even really have like a young little child in my life in any way. At least physically and like near me a lot of the time. Now, some people would be like, well, why are we talking about children's literature? What are we doing? Why? And just because I've been in a reading slump, and the other night I was laying in bed and for some reason, I just like got on this thought of remembering all the books that I was read as a kid and books that I read as a kid and ones that I remember reading to like my little brothers when they were kids, and like so many like nostalgic memories around books that they just bring my heart joy, and I decided to place a big order on thrift books. Now, this is not sponsored. I can't remember if I've talked about thrift books on this channel before, at least not while I was homemaking high, but thrift books is amazing. So you don't have to go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble and buy like the hottest, newest, never been touched before hardcover. Like, yeah, it's beautiful on the shelf, but it's not great to read. I love buying used books. I love paperbacks. All these are like the most recent books that I've read and binged are these like Emily Henry books. Please give me paperback versions of books so that I can read them comfortably. But that's a whole tangent for another time. Let's get into some of this children's lit and just have a fun time and talk about some really great books. And if you have kids and you don't have any of these books, I recommend them. So I did want to start off with a couple honorable mentions that I did not purchase from thrift books, but that are actual copies that were mine as a girl. These are ones that my mom had saved for me because she knew that I enjoyed them. So the first one I'm going to show you is, I'm honestly like, I'm tearing up thinking about it. Like, just the nostalgia of it. And I didn't even become like, I didn't identify myself as like a reader until I was like in my mid-20s, I feel like. And so having these memories from childhood and books is really special to me. So, The Mouse Bride. Why am I crying? Let me get over this here for a second. So the first little book I'm going to talk about, well, it's not little, but it is The Mouse Bride. And this was written by Joy Cowley and illustrations are by David Christiana. The illustrations are really what I remember from this book. If you can see, just from the cover, they're very detailed. There's a lot of movement going on in a lot of these illustrations. The one I remember most is this one, and this is supposed to represent the wind. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh, yeah, this book is just, it's so beautiful, so detailed. Like, look at that tractor, and it's all from the perspective of a mouse, obviously, so everything's like very large and in charge, like in the book. Like, you really feel like you're immersed in this story. So yeah, that's The Mouse Bride. This is the actual one that I read with my mom as a kid, and I just think it's so lovely to have that. And I do have a little section way down there, I'll show you, of my children's book section of my bookshelf, because I have collected some over the years, because I know I want kids in the future, and I know that I know I'll probably buy more once I know I'm pregnant someday, but it can't hurt to just collect them when you see them, you know? Who knows when you're gonna need a children's book? So The Mouse Bride was one of my favorites. Classic bedtime story for me was The Store-Bought Doll. This is by, it doesn't even have the author on the outside. It's a little golden book. Classic. By Lois Meyer, illustrated by Ruth Sanderson. That's this story. This one, it's so cute, so perfect. It's so pretty. Maybe this is where this was my inspiration of being a pioneer woman, maybe. I wanted to be that mom. But it's all about this little girl who has this rag doll that she loves, and she takes it with her everywhere, and one day she's gifted a store-bought porcelain doll. And she tries to do all the things with this porcelain doll that she did with her rag doll, and she's figuring out that store-bought doll may not be just as good as she quite thought that it was. It is special, it is beautiful, but nothing can replace her little rag doll. So this one, very lovely, very nostalgic to me. Oh my gosh, I have been rambling on, and I feel like we haven't even gotten into the haul yet. So let's start with some board books. Now, board books are great, especially for young kids, because you don't have to worry about them ripping up the paper, and they're just durable, okay? They're good ones. So, Goodnight Moon. If you have a child and you do not have this book, I don't know what's going on, because every single person I've ever known with a child has this book. I've babysat and nannied enough that I'm pretty sure even I have this book memorized. So, Goodnight Moon, ultimate classic, board book edition, lovely. The next one, I actually didn't have this one growing up, but I remember, I have fond memories of looking at these books in the library in elementary school, and that is Harold and the Purple Crayon. I can't believe 60th anniversary, and I don't even know when the copyright was. 1955. I didn't realize that book was this old. But yeah, classic Harold and the Purple Crayon. Another classic, and I just love it, especially as a board book. Eric Carle and the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Again, I don't know anyone who has a child and does not have this book. And the board book version is my ultimate favorite because of all the fruits with the holes in it. Just nostalgic. So good. So good. Another Eric Carle book that I feel like I've never heard of anyone talk about, but I have definite memories of this as a child, and that is The Very Busy Spider by Eric Carle. Now, the reason I have memories of this is because the texture of the spider, and there is texture for the spider web, and I remember tracing all these as a kid. Her web gets more complex as it goes throughout the story, and at the very end there's a full spider web, and I remember just the tactile motion of going over this and feeling it, and the touch, and the reading. There's so many memories attached to this book for me, and it's kind of funny now that I'm not the biggest spider fan, but Eric Carle and The Very Busy Spider. I have a whole other stack here. Now, I have a couple that I'm sure if my husband saw would be like, do you need to tell me something? Are we having a baby? Because why on earth would anyone else buy this? But I have full-on memories of reading this book with my mom as a child, and that is Once Upon a Potty. All about toilet training a young girl. There is a girl version and a boy version. I thought they were the same when I ordered on Thrift Books, but apparently this one is a board book with noises, and it's not as in depth as the other one. Honestly, I think I'm gonna redonate this one because all the noises are no longer work. And this one unfortunately has, this is so beautiful, and these now smell like old books and it makes me feel really old. But unfortunately this book has some ripped and like missing pages, so the full story isn't there like on this one, so that's kind of unfortunate. But I did read through it the other day and it's just amazing to me that like memories of reading this as a child are still stuck in my brain, and to revisit it like years and years and years later, it's just so wild and I kind of love it. So Once Upon a Potty. Now another, I feel like, classic one, and I remember like checking this out in elementary school. Caps for Sale. I read through this the other day and I actually really like that I got this hardcover version, and it obviously was like an elementary school copy because it says property of Mrs. Larson, GES. I don't know what that is or who that is, but it's just classic little storybook for young readers, and I have memories of it, so I got it. Now another one. I think I have memories of this one because I'm pretty sure we had this as a book on tape. And so I remember the narrator's voice from this little guy, and that is I Don't Want to Go to Bed by Julie Sykes and Tim Warnes. This is about a little tiger who obviously doesn't want to go to bed, and he's kind of visiting all his little jungle friends and figuring out their nightly routines and figuring out a night routine for himself. So this one is a really cute one. Some fun illustrations. Absolutely have to have that in children's lit. These next three, well, one of them everyone probably has memories of, and that is Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. Ultimate classic. I love these like hardcover ones for young kids to read. It just reminds me of the like book in a bag elementary school, and you would have like the different reading level stickers on it, and like you check it out, you take it home, you bring it home, you read it to your mom, she signs your little form so you can make sure teacher knows you did 15 minutes of reading that night and you read Green Eggs and Ham all by yourself. These next two, I remember having these as a kid, and my mom says that I was very big into this author's books, and that is P.D. Eastman. My top two that I remember are Go Dog Go and Are You My Mother? And this one, all about dogs, and dogs in different places, dogs with hats, dogs without hats, dogs at a party, dogs on top of a tree, dogs doing this, dogs going, dogs like leaving, all the dogs. It was such a fun book, and I still like, where is it? It was just so funny to me as a kid. This one. So these two dogs are interacting with each other. Hello again. Hello. Do you like my hat? I do not like it. Goodbye again. Goodbye. Like, just so like to the point. Do you like my hat? I do not like your hat. I don't know why. It always made me laugh as a kid, but yeah, just all the fun, like, vibrant primary colors, and it's easy for kids to read, and I really enjoyed this one. And the other one, Are You My Mother, is all about this baby bird that wakes up from his nest and his mom is not there, and he's discovering all these things around him and asking, are you my mother? Are you my mother? Are you my mother? So it's a fun one. I I definitely remember like beginning to read and reading this one to my mom as well. And I think the last one I have to mention today is Go Away Big Green Monster. Now this one is a fun one. I haven't opened it up since I got it, but the reason this one is fun is because all of the pages have little cutouts. This one is Big Green Monster, has 2 big yellow eyes, a long bluish greenish nose, and so it's like slowly revealing this monster over time. And yeah, just so funny to me. Oh, so good. People who create these books, like all these little cutouts, 2 squiggly ears, scraggly purple hair, and a big scary green face. But you don't scare me, so go away, scraggly purple hair. And it goes away. Go away, 2 little squiggly ears. Go away, long bluish greenish nose. Go away, big green face. And go away, big red mouth. Go away, sharp white teeth. And go away, 2 big yellow eyes. Go away, big green monster. Now he's gone. And don't come back until I say so. It's just a little, I don't know, I thought it was just so fun, I think, because of all the shapes and the cutouts, and of course kids think that that's fun. And I have memories of this background, these little like confetti pieces all over the book. This is by Ed Emberley. Didn't know that. So those are all of the cute little children's lit that I was just like laying in bed the other day remembering about, and I decided to see if they were on thrift books, and these are the ones that I gathered for myself and for my little bookshelf area. And yeah, I'm just happy to be expanding my children's lit section. It makes me so nostalgic, and I know that someday I'll be really happy to have all these memories from when I was a kid to pass on to my future children. So here is what we are looking like after my additions. Glad to be expanding. I remember having a lot of books like this as a kid. These like hardcover, like I said, the P.D. Eastmans, the Dr. Seuss. This is another one of my favorite books as a kid. The 5 Little Ducks. Some other classics like Love You Forever, Corduroy. I've got Sleeping Beauty. I've got Charlotte's Web. I've even got some chapter books in here like Junie B. Jones. And I remember these from when I was a kid, the Marvin Red Post series. Also some classics, some Shel Silverstein. I've marked some of my favorite poems in there. And this was another one I read a lot as a kid, was The Giving Tree. So yeah, here's my little children's section of my big old bookshelves over here. But yeah, here we are, children's lit. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please give it a like and subscribe to my channel down below if you enjoyed. I just love sharing little bits and pieces of my life here and there. Like, I know I have many interests, but that's the fun part about life, is that you can be into anything you want to be. Okay, enough with my rambling. That is all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed looking through some of these old children's books with me. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely day. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.